Vaistammanamapi Vishachi Putram Atra Surupam Rupam Tasakajami Purim Maturim Ojduaktim Radha Kundam Agivaram Ahoradika Amarvasam Prapto Yasya Patita Kripaya Sri Guru Tam Natos Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Istadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namah Ananda Leelamaya Vigrahaya Prema Padvyajjavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasapradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Shilvashta Kamari Karam Kamadi Vita Mahitam Sharanam Prasanam Vrinde Namaste Sharanam Vrindam Vrinde Namaste Sharanam Vrindam Govinda Damo Dharmadaveti Govinda Damo Dharmadaveti Govinda Damo Dharmadaveti Govinda Damo Dharmadaveti Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava, Hey Sakhi Govinda Damo Dharmadaveti Sham Sundar Shikanda Shikar Smaraha Sumurali Manohara Radhikaras Kamama Kripanidhe Sopriyacharna Kinkarim Kuru Tavaivasmi Najivami Trayavina Jivikaya Devi Tam Namam Charantikam. First of all, I offer my Sastang Dandavat Puspanjali, my heart like flowers, thousands and thousands of times, at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev, Asmadya Paramaratatama, Guru Pada Padama, Niktilila Pravisht Om Vishnupada, Ashtotarasata Sri Rupanuga Charivarya, Sila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev, to Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And finally, I offer my pranam to all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, Vaishnavi Pure. By the causes most of Sri Guru and Gauranga. Now, for the third day, we have assembled together to hear the Sri Bhajana-rahasya of Saptam Goswami Satyananda Sila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So, yesterday, we completed our brief overview of the second chapter, which is based on the second verse of Shikshastakam. Now today we're coming to the third chapter, Tritiyayam Sadhan, Upurvan Kaliya Bhajan. And this is based on the third verse of Shikshastakam, which corresponds to the stage of Nishta, the stage of steadiness. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there, Sutta Goswami Pad has said, Srinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Stravana Kirtana Hridyantastohi Abhadrani Vittunoti Suritsatam. When one has the association of pure Vaishnavas in their company, there is very beautiful katha describing the glories of Krishna's name, form, qualities, associates and pastimes. Srinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtana. This is the most beneficial activity that we can engage in, hearing and chanting in Sadhu Sangha. It is so pleasing to see Krishna that Hridyantasto Bhadrani Viddunoti Suritsatam. When we listen to Krishna Katha, this Shabda Brahma, this transcendental sound vibration, is Krishna himself appearing in the form of Harikatha. And he goes into the ear and into the heart. And when he arrives there in the form of Harikatha, in the heart of the conditioned soul, he looks around and sees, actually it's very messy here. No. So Surit Satam, it is said that Krishna is the friend of his devotees. So if your friend arrives at your house and you are not in and the place is messy, then the friend will say, oh, let me tidy up. So because Krishna is our friend, he goes into the heart and he sees, oh, it's so messy here, and Krishna himself begins to clean. And that is the stage of anartha nivriti. Nashta preshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhakti bhavati naishtiki. So that previous verse describes, in Srimad Bhagavatam, describes the stage of anartha nivriti. Now this verse is describing coming to the stage of nishta. Nashta preshu abhadreshu. When the Abhadrani, the inauspicious things in the heart, the anarthas, the Chaitanya Dharma avarnamayi vritti, the habitual thought patterns which cover our awareness of our spiritual nature, when these have been destroyed, not completely but mostly, nashta prayeshu. Praya means almost, like 75% destroyed. And the devotees then, nityam bhagavata sevaya, every day serving the Bhakta Bhagavat, the devotee who is the embodiment of Srimad Bhagavatam, and hearing from him also the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki, the devotee becomes nishta, he becomes naishtiki, he becomes steady in bhakti to Uttama Shloka Sri Krishna. Uttama Shloka means that person who is glorified, by whom uttama, by those who are beyond the darkness of material existence. It's an amazing thing. Though by our material vision we see that the pure Vaishnava is sitting here, but the pure Vaishnava is sitting with Sri Krishna in Vrindavan. But we see here. So the speaker who is uttama, beyond this world, but he appears to be here. Such persons who are beyond this world, they are wandering. And uttama shloka, they are glorifying Sri Krishna. So Krishna is called uttama shloka, the one who is glorified by those personalities who are beyond the darkness of this world. Bhakti bhavati naishtiki, and the bhakti of the person who is hearing, his anarthas are cleared almost, and he becomes in the stage of nishta. Here nishta means ekagrata chitta. Ekagrata chitta, that he experiences the steadiness of the heart. And we mentioned that yesterday. When the chitta is steady, it gets the quality Bhagavad Bimba Grahitva. It can catch the reflection of Sri Krishna's form. So it is said, Bhavapava go janatayata bhavet. Janasita hyachita satkama samagama. The meaning is when the living entity is wandering throughout the material world. Bhavapavaga brahmatoya dabhavat. He's wandering throughout this world, but he comes into sadhusanga. Then satsangamo yahi tadaiva satkato paravare shetvai jayate ritmati. Then in that sadhusanga he listens to harikatha. In this verse the satkato means sporti. That as the devotee is listening to the harikatha, then there is a sporti, a vision of Krishna reflected in his heart. Pratamam namna shravanam antakarna shuddhyartam apiksham shuddhe cha antakarane rupa shravanena tad udoy yogyata bhavati. Srila Jiva Goswami Pad said, in the beginning we cannot hear truly Krishna's name, but by surrendering, serving Gurudev and Vaishnavas, gradually that sound pierces the ear. And then when we hear about the beauty of Krishna's form, when the Antakaran is clear, then we can see the beauty of Sri Krishna's form in the heart. When his form is fully awakened, then his qualities begin to manifest. And then his associates. And then we can, on seeing the associates, now we can internally begin to follow them. So it's not possible unless a person has internal realization. How can they do Raganuga Bhakti to follow the associates? Only Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said, if we don't have the darshan mai sambandha gyan, the sambandha gyan which includes a vision of Sri Krishna, then our so-called bhajan is only like shooting arrows in the dark. Like a hunter. If he goes into the forest at night, and then he's just blindly shooting arrows here and there, hoping that he'll hit something. So this is not bhajan. This is only the misunderstanding of what is the path of bhakti. So here, nashta praeshu abhadreshu, when the abhadrani, the inauspicious things in the heart are destroyed, then it comes to the stage of nishta. Here especially, abhadrani, inauspicious things, Srila Vishnu Thakur said, it refers especially to nam aparad. In other words, by hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, by hearing about Krishna Tattva, Vaishnav Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, one develops a great honor for Guru, for Sri Krishna, for the chanting of the holy name, and he gives up the offenses to the holy name. When he gives up the offenses to the holy name, then when he chants, the Nama Bas eradicates the anarthas, and he comes to Nishta. Srila Prabhupada translates it, he becomes established in irrevocable devotional service. That means he will not turn back now. It's irrevocable. He will not turn back. Why? Because in the stage of Nishta, then the form of Krishna is awakened in the heart. It is the first connection, internal realization of the divine realm. Now he's certain, yes, everything Gurudev told me is true. Before, one may hear, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then someone can repeat, yes, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But some doubt comes from time to time. Some shy. Some doubt comes. But now there's no doubt. Everything is true. Krishna is real. So when the chitta is steady, it has the quality Bhagavad Bimba Grehitva. And Srila Vishnu Thakur and Sridhar Swami in their commentaries also on Srimad Bhagavatam, they say that the Swachcha Chitta, the pure Chitta, is called Upalabdhistanam. Upalabdhistanam. It is the place of internal perception. The clear, steady Chitta, the Chitta which is in Nishta, steadiness, is Upalabdhistanam, the place of perception, the place of attainment. And they also say that it is also called Upasana Pitam. It is the place where we can render our internal services. So until the sky of the heart becomes clear, it's not possible to render internal services. So for those persons, Krishna says, don't panic, don't worry. I appear in the form of the deity. and you can serve me. Don't think that the Vigraha is a statue. Krishna can jump off the altar here and sing and dance and do everything. But because our mind is unsteady, he's standing very still. So that we'll look at him and our mind will become still. And once our mind will become still, then he'll start moving. So this is Nishtha. So the deity appears to help the devotees go through in the anartha-nivriti, to give them shelter. It is just like if you have a small plant that you are growing and it's quite weak and fragile. In the beginning you put a stick and you tie it to a stick so it will grow like this. So in the beginning of our spiritual life, our devotion is like a small tender plant, but Archan is there to give us some support, so that our fledgling service tendency can find some expression. So Krishna is very kind, very merciful. He appears as Vigraha. Vi means Vishesh, especially. Graha, to accept. Especially to accept our service. Even when we are in the conditioned state, Sri Krishna has appeared in this form. So how kind is Krishna? But when the stage of Nishtha comes, then the Upalabdhi Sthanam, the sky of the heart becomes clear and one can perceive something of Krishna's form. And it is the Upasana Pitam, it is the place of internal services. When the chitta is steady and it becomes Santatvam, Santatvam, it has the quality of peacefulness. That means not disturbed by rag and dvesh, attachment and aversion. So then the devotee has such profound inner peace, profound inner sanctity, no anxiety, no fear of material existence or anything in material existence. So it corresponds to the phrase Bhava Mahadavagni Nirapanam, that the blazing forest fire of material existence is extinguished. No? If there's a forest fire, then all the small creatures in the forest, they're terrified and they're running. But anyway, the fire catches up with them and they all perish. So that's our condition in this world. As long as we identify with the body and mind, we're always struggling. The existential struggle for survival in this world. Running, but eventually time catches up with us, right? We grow old, we become weak, we become sick, and then burnt in the fire. So, general people are afraid of this. They are afraid of this. Even I know someone, their father just passed away recently, and the father was actually a religious person. But when the last moment of life came, he was afraid. He was very afraid. So only being religious for the sake of for the social interactions, that means following religion in a conventional way as just a member of a community, it's not enough. We have to strive for this nishtha, the internal steadiness, the inner purity, the sanctity of the heart, where we become situated in a state of sublime peace that cannot be disturbed by anything external. So that state has been described by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the third verse of Shikshastikam. Trinadapi sunichena jalorapi sarishnuna amanena manyanena kirtanya sadari. Chaitanya Sadari means that Hari should be glorified. When? Sada, always. He should always be glorified. So who can glorify Krishna continuously all the time? Only a person who is free from ahankar, from false ego. Because if the ahankar is there, then ahankar will engage us in karma according to our past lives impressions. And then you don't have time to do kirtan because you have all these other so-called responsibilities. Janadapi sunichena. Janadapi sunichena means that one has come to the stage of sakshitva. Sakshitva means witnesshood. Rupam drishyam lochanam drik. Tadrishyam driktumanasam. Drishya dibritaya shakshi drigevana tu drishyate. In one Advaita Shastra, this verse is there. Sometimes you can quote. Sometimes Jiva Goswami would quote from Shankaracharya even. So on certain things, they're correct up to a point. They already said that the eye sees form. So your eye sees the forms of this world. But your eye cannot see what the mind is doing. So the form is the seen and the eye is the seer. Now, the eye is the seer of, the mind is the seer of the eye, but the eye cannot see the mind. So if you go back one step, then you can be objective towards your senses. Oh, now my eyes are looking here, looking there. But I am not this body, I am not these eyes. Then, Drishyadi Vritaya Sakshi. But the soul is the witness of the mind. So the soul is the seer and the mind is the seen. So when the person becomes Drishyadi Vritaya Sakshi, when a person comes in that state of being seeing his own mind from the objective vantage point of the soul, that is called Sakshitva. So if a person is always disturbed mind, they cannot even understand what I'm saying. But if you can have a moment of peacefulness, a moment of clarity, then you can easily consider this. That your eye is seeing the world, your mind is seeing what the eye is doing, but you, the soul, you can watch the movements of your own mind, how thoughts are coming and going. Sometimes anger is coming, sometimes lust is coming. When there is a rajaguna, the mode of passion, then our identity is mixed in with the movements of the mind. So if lust will come, if anger will come, if attachment will come, if anxiety will come, then we think, I am angry, I am attached, I am hungry, I am afraid. But when the mind becomes steady, then we can step back and from the objective vantage point of the soul see, oh, this is just my mind moving. So Krishna said, describe this in Bhagavad Gita, apuryamanam achala pratishtam samudramapo pravishanti yadvat tadvat karmayam pravishanti sarve sashantim apnoti nakama kami. In the end of chapter 2 of Gita, Krishna said that just as many rivers from all directions are flowing into the ocean, but the ocean stays within its boundary. So in the same way, that soul into whose mind many desires are coming, but he does not act on those desires. He doesn't think, I want this, I want that. He just watches the desires come and lets them come and go. The person who sees the desires flowing into his mind again and again, but does not act upon them, only he can attain peace, shanti, nishta, steadiness. So there has to come a time when we develop the level of introspection, where instead of being told what to do by our own wicked mind, we ignore the mind and we follow the words of Gurudev. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chite Te Koriya Aikya Ana Kari Ho Mani Asha. Or when will I make my heart one with the instructions of Gurudev and not desire anything else? The desires which are coming from the experiences in this life and previous lives, they'll still be there. But you have to just watch them come and go. So, Tanadapi Sunichena. The devotee who has attained the Sakshitva, the state of being a witness to his mind, rather being his identity being blended in with the mental oscillations. So then that person can be considered trinadapi sunichena, more humble than a blade of grass. Because though the blade of grass is quite insignificant, it does not have sakshitva, he still thinks I am a blade of grass. But when sakshitva comes, witnesshood, then we know the garden is outside, the room is outside, the body is outside, my mind is also outside. It's all external. To me, the Atma, the self. So then one has overcome the influence of the ahankar to one has some awareness beyond the limitation of ahankar. So Srila Sanatana Goswami Pad, he says that Shuddha Bhakti does not begin until we are situated in the status of Sakshitva. Because before that, our consciousness being mixed with our mental plane, the bhakti will not be pure because it will be filled with all type of mental objectives. And the actual substance of the mind, the substance of the intelligence, the substance of the ego, these are all mature elements, and therefore they are intrinsically bahirmukh. Bahirmukh means indifferent to Krishna, averse to Krishna. The material mind, the material intelligence, the material ego, they are all by constitution exclusively constituted of a nature which is intrinsically bahirmukh, against Krishna, averse to Krishna. So until we are situated in Sakshitva, the position of detached objectiveness towards one's own mind, then we cannot be engaged in pure bhakti. So Mahaprabhu is describing very poetically this state of nishtha. Trinadapi sunichena, tarorapi srishna. Be more tolerant than a tree. Vrikshayena kotileya kichuna balai, suke melai kari panina magai. Mahaprabhu explained this, that if someone will come and cut a tree, it will not try to take revenge. If the tree is drying up in a drought and someone walks by with some water, the tree will not say, give me water. Jaye magaya tare de apandan, gama bristisai ane kare rakshan. And if someone will come to a tree, even someone who's cutting the tree will still give fruits and flowers, whatever that person wants. So the tree has unconditional compassion for others. Someone comes and cuts a branch from the tree, but the tree will say, yes, take my fruit, take my flowers. Unconditional compassion. Kindness to everyone. Not discriminating. Be kind to this one, but not to this one. So if we find ourselves in our spiritual life that we have some enmity towards someone, I like this person, I don't like this person, now we've become under the control of past karma. Srila Gurudev used to say this. If you have the enmity with someone, you don't get along with someone, you don't feel kindness for that person, now you're being caught in the snare of your past sanskars. Because this is all mental. Every soul is part and parcel of Krishna. So, Jive saman deve jani Krishna adhishtan. Mahaprabhu said, give respect to everyone. Manena manadena. Here manadena means give respect to everyone. If we don't give respect to everyone, we are not seeing Krishna in their heart, and we are discriminating, we have some hostility. That means our mind has become caught in the snare of some previous karma. So these are all the symptoms that Mahaprabhu is describing in a poetic sense. The symptoms of a person who has come to nishtha, and so they've overcome most of the anarthas. So Gama Brishti Sayane Kare Rakshan, on a very hot day, the tree is burning. But though the tree himself is burning, he's giving shade to others. So Vaishnava is like that. Even though they may be suffering and they may be in difficulty, but they never stop helping others. They don't think about their own condition. So this is Tanarapi Sunichena. Now, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in this third chapter of Bhajana-rahasya, he has put the verse Anukulyasya Sankalpa, the verse which describes the 6 angers of Sharanagati. And the reason is actually from the very beginning, from Shraddha, we should try to surrender. But because of our anarthas, the surrender is somewhat, somewhat vitiated. But when we come to Nishta, when most of the anarthas have gone, now the surrender can be mature. They can be really a full surrender to Sri Krishna. Not compromised. So in this third chapter, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur quotes many verses he quotes a couple of verses from the Mukundamala Stotra of King Kulashekar, and he quotes about 9 verses actually from Yamuna Acharya, the Yamuna Stotra. And these 2 acharyas, they're from the Sri Sampradaya, the line of Lakshmi Devi, from before the time actually of Ramanujacharya, but that's Sampradaya, but prior to Ramanujacharya. Because in these Sri Sampradaya, they have an extreme emphasis on Sharanagati. Radharaman, please stop it. Play the So, at the time of initiation in the Sri Sampradaya, they received this mantra, Sakrit eva prapannayas, trasmiti chayachaye. Oh, if someone will just say one time, Oh my Lord, I am yours. Then the Lord said, I take a vow. I will make that person fearless forever. Avayam sarvada tasmai. I'll make him fearless forever. This is my vow. So, these words were spoken by Lord Ramachandra. If someone will just say, Oh my Lord, I am yours one time, he'll protect that person forever. So I think we should all say it. Oh my Lord! I am yours! So some persons, they think that once you've done that, then after that you can just relax. You can just watch TV and sit there eating chips and ice cream like this. Because I've surrendered now, and the Lord promised if I say just once, He'll protect me. But this is not actual surrender. It has to be from the heart, not only lip service. So, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's given all these original verses in Sanskrit from the Mukundamala Stotra, from Yamunacharya's Yamuna Stotra, but he's also in very simple Bengali songs put the essence of all of these prayers. The essence of all of these prayers, you'll find he has collated them together in some of his songs in the songbook of Srila Bhaktivinoda called Sharanagati. So they're very beautiful. It's essential to really sing these songs of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and become immersed in the mood of Sharanagati if you want to enter into the realm of bhajan. Manas deha deho jo kichu more arpilu tua pade Nanda Kishore. My body, my mind, my house, O son of Nanda Maharaj, I am offering everything to you. Sampade vipade Jivane marane Doyama magela Tua podabarane. O Nanda Kishore, son of Nanda Maharaj, Shri Krishna, whether I am a success in my life, materially, or whether there's tragedy and disaster and catastrophe, whether I am living or whether I am dying, at every moment, the responsibility for my maintenance and my existence, it is completely with you. I have given all responsibility to you. Oh Krishna, you can Maro Virakobi Joicha Toha Nityadas Prati Tuayadika. You can kill me or you can save me as you like. You have the right to do anything with me because I am your property. I am your eternal servant. Janma obi moye ichajarito bhakta grihe janme janma hamo. Oh Krishna, when I die, if I have to take birth again, I'm only praying to you that I can be born in the house of your devotee. I simply want to be with your pure devotees. Kita janma hau jata tuadas bahimuk brahma janme nayash. Even if I have to take birth as an insect, then I don't mind if that's what you want. But let it be an insect in the house of your devotee. At least I can hear kirtan and eat some mahaprasada. I don't want to get a very high and aristocratic birth, even as Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe, the most powerful being in the universe, if it means that I have any bahimukata, any aversion to you. Mukti bhukti spriha bihina je bhakta. Oh, please give me the association of your devotee who doesn't want any type of sense gratification and doesn't want liberation even. I just want that association of your pure devotee. Janaki janani daitatanoy Guru Pati Prabhu Guru Pati Tu Sarvamoy. Oh Krishna, you are my mother, you are my father, you are my darling, you are my son, you are my master, you are my guru, you are my everything. Bhakati vinoda koe sunokan Radhanata tu hamara paran. Oh Krishna, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, oh Kana, listen to my prayer. Oh Radhanath, to hamara pran, you are my pran, you are my life and soul. So, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given 9 verses from the Yamuna Stotra here in the 2nd chapter. But this song of the Manasadeha Gehu actually compiles, it is a compilation of the moods of all these different verses that were expressed by that Acharya of the Sri Sampradaya. Also, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Shanagati, he has written a very beautiful song, Atmani Vedana Tuya Padakori Hoinu Paramasuki. Oh Krishna, since I surrendered to you, I have become completely joyful. All of my anxiety has gone far away, and I only see happiness in all 4 directions. So this is the test of surrender. If one has attained sakshitva, really detached from the worldly consciousness, then whatever is going on in this world, it becomes unimportant. And even if some difficulty or problem comes to us, then we see, really, this is Krishna's mercy, this is His kindness. He's helping me become more humble and more detached. Ashok aboya amrita adara tomara charna doy toiti ekon vishrama labya charinu bhavera boy. Oh Krishna, your lotus feet are such a place where there's no lamentation. Ashok, Abai, there's no fear, and there is only amrita, there is only nectar. Srila Narottam Das Thakur said, there in the Sadhu Sangha, Anandita Anukshan, in Sadhu Sangha there is joy at every moment. So, if we are not experiencing joy at every moment, then something is wrong. Either we're not associating with the sadhu, or the sadhu himself is not a sadhu. Either the sadhu is not really a sadhu, or he's really a sadhu, but we're not doing the sangha. That means following. Sangha means samyak rupain anugaman. Sam means completely. Anugaman means to follow behind, both outwardly and inwardly. So when we follow the sadhu outwardly in his vichar, in his achar, in his conduct, and we follow inwardly in vichar, in his perspective, his deliberation, his conception of life according to our capacity, then it's called sadhu sangha. Only proximity is not sadhu sangha. So if one is in this situation, then because the Vaishnav Thakur is Anandamoy, then every moment of our life becomes Anandamoy, full of joy. If we are not experiencing this joy at every moment, then our Gurudev used to say there's some loophole. If you have a bucket and you're pouring water in and the bucket does not fill up, then what does it mean? There's a hole in the bucket and it's leaking out. So in the same way, if we don't experience the benefits that are of bhakti, which are described in the scripture and described by the sages, then it means that there's some missing ingredient, there's some hole in our practice. We have to fill it. So then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Tomar samsari karibo shivana nahi gopaler bhagi tab sukha johe karibo jatana vai pade anuragi. My home, oh Krishna, this home is your home, not my home. And I am a servant in your home. And I am working and not taking any pay. In other words, whatever is coming, I'm not taking that fruit. This fruit is for you, Krishna. I am working tabasuka jahe. I am making the endeavor only to please you, and at every moment I feel the anurag, eagerness, and the attachment to your lotus feet. Tomara sevaya dukkha hoyodhyato seto paramasuka seva sukha dukkha paramasampad nasha avidya dukkha. He said, oh my Lord, as I am serving you, whatever suffering comes, whatever problem comes, I accept it as my greatest happiness. Seva sukha dukkha paramasampada. On the path of service, whether some distress is coming or some happiness is coming, they're all equal, because both of them, they help remove the darkness of avidya. They remove ignorance. To be practiced, to be accustomed to not becoming in a state of celebration and jubilation when there's some profit or victory in this world. And to not become overwhelmed by lamentation if there's some loss or defeat. So, material good and bad fortune, both of them, when we remain equipoised, then they are helping us cultivate that state of being equipoised. In Gita, Krishna says, Samatvam yoga uchte. Yoga is equilibrium of mind. So that is Nishta. And from this platform of Nishta, after that, the actual experience of pure bhakti begins. Purvitihasa bulinu sakala seva sukapai mani amito tomar tumito amaki kaja aparadane. Oh Krishna, I am so absorbed in your service that I cannot remember my past history. That means that the impressions of our material life have become so weak and they've become so overpowered by the impressions of our spiritual experiences that we just don't think about whatever was before. What did I do when I was at school, when I was at college, and this, it all doesn't even come in the mind anymore. Because there are so many spiritual impressions of parikrama at Giriraj Govardhan, of Navadvip Dham Parikram, Jagannath Puri Parikram, impressions of so many Harikathas, so many Kirtans, so many festivals, Jewel and Yatra Festival, Holy Festival, Lord Nrsingadev's appearance day, Gaura Punim, Janmashtami, Abhishek of Krishna at midnight, all of these things, the heart becomes filled with these impressions and the mature impressions become very weak. So purva itihasa bulinus, I've forgotten whatever happened in the past history. Ami to tomar tumi to amar ki kaja paradani. Only I know I am yours and you are mine. What other business is there? So Bhakti Vinod Ananda Dupiya Tomar Sevar Tahare Sabachesta Kori Tava Icha Mato Prakiya Tomar Kari. Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, I am sinking in bliss as I am serving you all the time. And all the endeavors that I am doing, they are according to your desire. I don't act according to any independent desire. Every endeavor is completely attuned and in harmony with your desire, Krishna, as I live within your house, your temple. Very beautiful. So there are many persons, they're very eager, they want to enter into the smaran, the remembrance of Radha Krishna's pastimes. But you can see, they become angry, they become upset, they become attached, they complain, they lament. They're not ready. It's completely impossible. It is, at that time, a metaphysical impossibility to even understand the name of Krishna or the form of Krishna or to speak about his confidential pastimes. And so this is why this Bhajana-rahasya is very important, because there is a graphic illustration of each stage of our internal attitude, and we can strive to be situated in that stage. And if a person is chanting the holy names with great determination every day, then the holy name will bring one through these stages. It is not that we can climb through the stages by our own power, but if we depend on the descending grace of the holy name will lift us through these stages. Once a devotee came to Param Pujapad Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj. I was there with him in his room where his samadhi is now. And he said, this Bhajana-rahasya has verses with different moods in it. So what do we do? How fast when do we go to the next chapter? When we go to the next chapter? So Maharaj, being a self-realized soul, he said, in bhajan you are not karta, you are not the doer. Nam Prabhu is karta. So you begin at the beginning and taking a hint from the prayers there, you should pray according to those prayers and chant according to those prayers. And then the holy name will lift your consciousness to such a state that you will identify with the prayers in the next chapter. Yes, this is what I'm feeling. And it's giving you a way of articulating that realization. And then if you chant according to the moods of that chapter, the holy name will lift you and you'll identify with the sentiments in the next chapter. Like this, very beautiful. So here in the 7th verse of the 3rd chapter, from the Mukundamala Stotra, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is quoting a famous verse that our Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, there's a beautiful recording of him singing this in a very pitiful mood. Krishna tvadiya parapankaja panjarantam adhyaiva me vishatu manasa rajahansa prana prayana samaye kapvagata pita kantavarodana vidopajanam kutaste. Yamunacharya is praying, Oh Krishna, may the swan of my mind become entangled in the cage of the lotuses of your lotus feet. Sometimes, a swan has a very long neck and the lotuses have long stems. And so when there's an embankment of lotuses, sometimes the swans, they go and they like to play there and they get all the stems all wrapped around their neck and they become all tied up in the lotuses. So he's saying, may the swan of my mind become completely trapped in the cage of the stems of your lotus feet, like this. Now, let it happen now. Why? Because prana prayana samaye, at the time of my death, when my pran is about to leave, kaphavata pitta, and all there's a derangement of the life airs, And the kapha, vata and pitta, the mucus, bile and air, the basic dhatus, the basic elements of the body, they come into an imbalance. At that time, kantava rodana, then you're coughing and you cannot breathe. So if you're coughing and choking and you cannot breathe, then how at the last moment of one's life will we be able to sing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. So he's saying now, the meaning is that we should not put off the absorption in Krishna to the last minute. Because first of all, we don't know when it will come. And if we've wasted a lot of time when it does come, then we'll still have many attachments and other thoughts will come into the mind. So now, he's saying, while I'm still alive, while I'm still relatively healthy, let me chant your names continuously and you bless me with absorption. We cannot be absorbed in Krishna by the force of our own endeavor. So when Nishta comes and the mind is steady, this becomes very clear. Because the ahankar, as one experiences the ahankar dissolving, and in that state you realize, even actually I'm not chanting. Only Hare Krishna, the name is coming. It's coming to me. The Harikatha is coming into my ears. All the opportunities of service, they're all Krishna's mercy. So, in this verse, Yamunacharya, he's expressing the mood of the devotee who is coming to Nishta. And that devotee feels great repentance. Even though he's trying continuously to remember Krishna, but he criticizes himself and he thinks that I have not tried enough. Oh Krishna, my mind is going into worldly things again and again. You see? When there are anarthas, our mind is literally in worldly things most of the time. And now and then we remember Krishna and we think, I did well today, I remember Krishna. But when actual Nishta comes, even the slight distraction, any of the slight thought that comes, alas, my mind went into worldly things, and the devotee criticizes himself. And he becomes desperate. What will happen when death comes? I won't be able to chant, I won't be able to remember you. So then, I'm just choosing some of the verses, because there are many verses in every chapter. Now we're coming to the 11th verse in this chapter 3. Very beautiful. Also from Yamunacharya. Bhavantam evanu charam nirantara prasanta nishesha manoratantara kadaham aikantiki nitya kinkara prahasha ishami sanata jivitam. This verse was also taught by Ramananda Rai to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the bank of Godavari. The meaning is, O my Lord, Bhavantam evanu charam nirantara. When I engage in your service continuously, without any interruption, then prashanta nishesha manoratantra, then my manorata, the flow of worldly desires, it will become prashanta nishesh. It will stop and I will feel sublime inner peace. A sublime shanti. Prashanta nishesha. Kadaham aikantiki nitya kinkara. When will I become your one-pointed servant? And in that state, prahasha ishami. That means I will be feeling great jubilation. Great jubilation. Why? Because sanata jivitam. Because you are my life and soul. Here the idea is that in this world, someone becomes happy when they get some temporary material gain. But a devotee feels the joy at every moment. Why? Because once he has adopted the das abhiman, the conception, I am the servant, but servant of whom? the servant of Krishna. Krishna is so beautiful, so kind, so sweet, so intelligent, so sensitive, so merciful, so grateful. He has unlimited qualities. One may be able to count all the particles of dust on the planet Earth. One may be able to count all the snowflakes falling in the sky. Or one may be able to count all the photons emanating from the sun. Right? Billions at every second. But if you could even count all of those things, no one could come to the end of counting Sri Krishna's qualities. So if a person gets the position of being the das, the servant of that very Krishna, then that is to be in a state of jubilation of every second. It doesn't matter win or lose or whatever, successful in this or that. Just the fact that I am the servant of this wonderful person keeps the devotee in a state of joy always. So these are the sentiments, the bhavs of the devotee who has entered into Nishta. So it's very wonderful. We can see the degree to which these sentiments are coming, to that degree we're approaching Nishta, and vice versa. The degree to which those sentiments are absent, then we are at some distance from that stage. So then we'll have some more work to do, more surrender to do. So these are the sentiments of the Ajata Rati Sadak, the devotee who has not attained Rati yet. So now we come to the Jata Rati Sadak. In the Jata Rati Sadak, he's realizing, that person who's attained Bhav, he's realizing the Purvan Lila. That means the forenoon pastimes, the pastimes before noon and after the morning pastimes. So Sri Krishna has just finished his breakfast and taken a little rest, and now he's getting ready to leave from the village. So Krishna gathers together with all of his friends and all of the cows, and they come out from the gate of Braja. And Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Maya and all the elderly gopis and gopis, they begin to follow Krishna out of the gate because they have so much attachment for him. Mother Yashoda comes and embraces him and tells the boys, hey, Mangali Bhadra, Subhadra, you stand on this side, you stand on this side. Oh, you should stand in front of him, you should stand behind him, to the older boys. And you should keep some sticks with you. You should protect him, that he's in no danger. And then Krishna goes to walk a little bit further, but then Mother Yashoda cannot check herself. And she runs again and grabs him and embraces him and kisses him again. And then she touches him on different parts of the body and says, praise the Lord Nishingadev for protection. Then Krishna goes to leave, and then Mother Yashoda, again she cannot, and then she runs, and again she is embracing him. And she says, oh, I'm going to send you, you'll become hungry. I'll send you a lunch pack. I'll send someone with a tiffin for you, so you don't become hungry in the forest. And Krishna is now becoming embarrassed in front of his friends. Oh, mother, the cows are waiting. They want to go and eat the fresh grass. And he's embarrassed in front of his friends. So then he sets off again. And then again his mother runs after him and comes and embraces him. And then she takes an amulet and ties it onto his arm. And this has the Navaratna, 9 jewels on the angad, on the armlet. There are 9 jewels to propitiate the Navagrahas, the 9 planets. So then she ties on this astrological protection onto his arm, just so he'll be safe. And Krishna, really, mother, really, I have to go now. And then Krishna enters into the forest. Baha pidam natavaravapuhu karnayo karnikaram. And Braj gopis from the roofs of their houses, from their windows, from their balconies, from their doorways, they're looking and seeing the beauty of Krishna, playing on a flute, surrounded by his friends who are singing his glories as he enters into the forest in the morning. And then when he leaves, all Brajbasis, they feel like the world is empty without Krishna. They feel so much separation. So Radhika from Nandagaon, she goes back to Yavat. And there in Yavat, her mother-in-law, Juchila, tells her, oh, you should prepare to worship Suryadev, the sun god. So taking permission from Juchila, then Radhika sets her out to go to Suryakund to worship the sun god. First to pick flowers, and then to go to Suryakund. And see Krishna, he goes to play at Govardhan with his friends. And at an opportune time, when the friends have eaten something and they're resting, he puts Balaram in charge of the group of cowherd boys, and then see Krishna sneaks off and he makes his way to Radha Kund. And he's anxiously waiting there. When will Radhika come? When will Radhika come? Like that. So, according to the third Yugal Naam, that is Hare Krishna, now Krishna Krishna. The devotee who has attained Bhav, he relishes the sweetness of these pastimes. So now we come to the fourth chapter of Bhajana-rahasya. So the fourth chapter is based on the fourth verse of Shikshastakam. You all know this verse, so you can sing. Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishwari bhadan bhakti ahoy tuki tvai. O Jagadish, O Lord of the universe, I don't want wealth, I don't want progeny, followers, I don't want to be a great scholar. I only want that lifetime after lifetime. That means I don't even want liberation. Let me be born again and again. But in each life, may spontaneous love for you be awakening in my heart at every second. So Srila Gurudev, on this verse, he commented that when a person is engaged in hearing and chanting, he wants to realize his internal spiritual form, his spiritual identity. But the realization of this Swarup will not rise up in the heart unless and until a person is completely disconnected from any inclination towards sense gratification. So sense gratification is not only directly tasting things, but also includes power. Money gives power. Followers give prestige and power. Learning also. So there are subtle psychological attachments to the world. All of these have to be given up. So the attainment of detachment from this world is attained in two ways: positively, anvay, and vyatirek, negatively. So that positive and negative aspect is described in the definition of bhakti. Anyabhilasta shunyam, jnana kamatinavritam, anukulyena krishnanushinam bhakti uttama. Anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhakti uttama. The continuous engagement of all of this body, mind and senses and sentiments in the service of Sri Krishna for his benefit, that's the positive aspect. And the negative aspect is anyabhilasta shunyam, to be devoid of any desire, and that one's bhakti is not mixed with karma, reward-seeking rituals, jnana, the sadhana to attain mukti, moksha, nirvana, liberation, or the austerities and ashtanga yoga to attain yoga siddhis, mystic powers, should be free from all of those things. So in this fourth verse of Shikshastakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving the vyatirek aspect of pure bhakti, the detachment from all worldly things, and praying for the positive. So as long as there are some worldly attachments and desires, then the chitta will become agitated. Some lamentation will come. If we think I am very great and someone doesn't respect us, then that will eat us. That is called the amarsha, indignation. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is quoting a verse of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, actually from the Padma Purana. Shoka marsha vibhavaya akrantam yashamanasam katham tatra mukundasya spurti sambhava na bhavet. The meaning is, how can a person, akrantam means attacked, akrantam yashamanasam, a person whose heart is being attacked by shok, lamentation, amarsha, indignation, oh, why did this person not respect me and recognize how great and perfect I am? Shoka, marsha, nibhava, and other worldly emotions. If the mind is attacked by any of these worldly emotions, then katam tatra mukundasya. Kata means how, mukundasya spurti. How will there be a spurti in the heart? Sambhava na bhavet. It will be impossible. So you can see here, it's very clearly illustrated by this verse. The reason, concomitant with hearing, chanting, remembering in these stages, there is a spurti of Krishna. But if the mind is oscillating, is disturbed by worldly emotions, then it is impossible to experience that spurti. So then, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is quoting another verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is from the instructions of Narad Muni to Srila Vyasadeva in the first canto. Tasyaita heto prayate ko vido na labhyate yad brahmatam uparyada tal labhyate dukavad anyata sukam kalena sarvatra gabhira ranghasa. It means that a wise person, they will endeavor for that valuable goal of life which cannot be attained even if you wander throughout the whole world, even if you wander throughout the lower planets of the universe and you wander up to the higher planets, to heaven, Swargalok and to Brahmalok. Even by wandering through all the planetary systems, there is a goal that you cannot find anywhere. That is bhakti. Transcendental bhakti, the direct service of Sri Krishna. A wise person will endeavor for that goal which is not attainable anywhere in the world. One may say, but I also have to do other things. No. Talabhyate dukavarannyata sukam kalena savatra gabhira ranghasa means that just as suffering comes without any endeavor, no one makes an endeavor to become sick. No one makes an endeavor that their car will be stolen, that their house will burn down, that any disaster will come in. No one works for that, but it comes automatically. So just as the suffering comes by previous karma, without any endeavor, also happiness comes without any endeavor. This is a tough one. Really. Actually, it's very simple to say. Why do we do things other than serving Krishna? Because we think that I have to do these other things to get happiness. But the absolute fact is that our happiness and distress is fixed. And whatever suffering, it's coming without endeavor. And whatever happiness, it will also come without any endeavor. And so when a person realizes this, they have come to Nishta and they're entering into pure bhakti. Now they realize this and they know there's no necessity of anything except for serving Krishna. They're very fixed in this. They have no excuse and no justification. So then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he quotes a very beautiful verse. Very touching verse that was spoken by Vritrasura in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Na nak prishtam, na chaparamestyam, na sarvabhomam, na rasadipatyam, na yoga siddhir, apunabhavam va, samanjasatva virahaya kankshe. Now it really comes to the heart of this matter. The heart of the matter. How does the devotee become so detached and the udasin, indifferent to worldly things? This is the heart of the matter now in this verse. Vritrasura, he's saying, Nanaka Prishtam, I don't want to go to heaven and enjoy the facilities of the Indralok, the planet of Indra. Nacha Parameshtyam, I don't want to even go to the planet above Indralok. Indralok is Swarg, and above that there's Mahalok, Janalok, Tapalok, and then Satyalok. That is Paramestyam, the planet of Lord Brahma, Satyalok. I don't want to be there. Now Sarvabhaumam, I don't want to have the undisputed reign over the whole world as the undisputed emperor of the world. Narasadhipatyam. And also below the earth planet, there are 7 planetary systems such as Rasatal. And they also have so much, they're like, we say, subterranean heavenly planets. There's also so much enjoyment and facility there, but the demons live there. I don't want to rule over the lower planets. Na yoga siddhi. I don't want any mystic powers. I don't want to control anything or anyone. Apuna bhavamba. I don't even want liberation. Why? Samandha sattva virihaya kankshe. Because in the anxiety of separation from you, none of these things can satisfy me. In the anxiety of separation. So now the devotee in the stage of ruchi has come. In this 4th chapter, the stage of ruchi has come, and separation from Krishna, the utkanta, eagerness. Oh Krishna, where are you? Krishna, where are you? This is spontaneously appearing in the heart. So just like if there's a small baby in a cot and the baby is crying for the mother, if someone who is not the mother will come and try to give them anything, give the baby some milk, give the baby a toy, the baby will just throw out. He will throw out everything. The baby is completely detached from everything except for the mother. He wants milk. So in this way, once the heart begins to feel separation from Sri Krishna, then the detachment from the world is natural, because everything is thrown away. Not this, not this, not... Why? Because nothing can satisfy me, only if I can serve Krishna. Very beautiful. And especially this verse is powerful because of the context. Perhaps you know that Vritrasur, in his previous life, he was King Chitraketu. And King Chitraketu had become very advanced in bhakti. And he had the darshan of his Ishtadev, Lord Sankarshan. And Lord Sankarshan had told him, if you become absorbed, completely absorbed in remembrance of me, then at the end of your life you will attain the transcendental destination. And you will enter into my eternal service. So then, later on in that very life, he was cursed by Parvati. Some misunderstanding took place. Lord Shiva was sitting in a forest surrounded by sages speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. But he was naked, and Parvati was sitting on the lap of Lord Shiva. So, Lord Shiva is also a devotee of Lord Sankarshan. So Chitraketu and Mahadev, they were like god brothers, because they were both servants of Sankarshan. So they had a very friendly mood with each other. Chitraketu Maharaj was flying in his biman, in his airplane, and he had many beautiful wives he was enjoying. And he looked down and he saw Lord Shiva there, and he said, oh, look at this. What kind of behavior is this? The sadhu is sitting naked with his wife on his lap and speaking transcendental knowledge. It wasn't a criticism of Lord Shiva, it was a glorification. But Parvati, she felt as if Lord Shiva had been insulted. And she cursed him, oh, you should become a demon. So then Chitraketu Maharaj came down from his aeroplane. And he gave pranam to Lord Shiva, and he gave pranam to Parvati also. And though he was a pure devotee and very powerful, he could have counteracted the curse. But he accepted it. This is the mercy of the Lord. And he glorified Shiva and Parvati. It's amazing. Can you glorify someone who curses you? Will you try to counteract it or accept it? It's a very sublime state of seeing the mercy of God everywhere, that he was completely accepting of that curse, that he should become a demon. And so in his next life, he became the very powerful demon Vritrasur. And he was leading the demon's armies against the army of Indra. So in that battle, Indra attacked Vritrasur with his club. And he threw the club at Vritrasur. And Vritrasur caught it and then used it against Indra. He was so huge, this Vritrasur demon. He was so huge, he was squashing all the devatas like ants beneath his feet. So then at one point in the battle, he came before Indra and he said, use your thunderbolt weapon. Why? Because Indra had prayed to Supreme Lord Vishnu. Oh, the demons have taken over my kingdom. How can I defeat them? How can I defeat this Vritrasur? So the Lord said, you can defeat him with a thunderbolt weapon made from the bones of the Dichi Muni. So then Indra went to the sage and said, oh Mahatma, I have a request of you. Please, can you give it to me? Promise you will give it to me? Yes, of course. Give me your bones. So Indra, you see the reason Lord Vishnu told Indra this was the only way, it was actually to humiliate Indra. Because Indra has to embarrass himself to the whole world. Because the kings are supposed to give charity to the Brahmanas. It's not that the king, for a king to beg from a Brahmana is really low class. But to go to a rishi who should be worshipped and ask him, can you please kill yourself? So that I can enjoy sense gratification in heaven? It's like so shameless. It's absolutely shameless. And so, the Supreme Lord Vishnu was exposing the shameless nature of worldly attachment. That the king of heaven, Indra, was going against all dharma and shamelessly begging for a sadhu to kill himself just to get his bones, to get the weapon, to kill Vritrasur, so that he can enjoy his sense gratification and his position in heaven. It's amazing. Amazing. So then the Dichi Muni, because he knew it was the plan of the Lord, and he had no attachment to his body, he gave up his life, and then from his bones, which were filled with the Shakti of his austerities, then the thunderbolt weapon was made. So now Vritrasur is telling Indra, oh, shoot me with your thunderbolt. And Indra was hesitating. He was thinking, I just threw my club at him and he caught it and he used it against me. If I start using the thunderbolt weapon, then what will happen? He'll take that weapon and use that against me. So he was hesitating. And Vritrasur is saying, what are you waiting for? Shoot me. So he's actually, in one sense, committing suicide on the battlefield. He went to that battlefield to die. He went because he knew it was the will of the Lord that he would be killed by the Vajra, the weapons made from the bones of the Dichi Muni. And he's just trying to encourage Indra to kill him with the thunderbolt weapon. And so then Indra starts to, he cuts off his arms and then he's cutting off his head, but it's so big, it takes him a year. But while Vritrasur is dying, then he says this prayer, Na kaprishtam, na chaparanastam. So Gurudev, he said, look at Vritrasura. He had three choices. Should I win the battle? Should I lose the battle? Or should I let the will of God take place, that this body, which is the demonic, rajasic body, should be destroyed by the thunderbolt weapon, while I absorb my mind in the lotus feet of the Lord and go to Him, as was predicted by Sankarshan when I was Chitraketu Maharaj. So this prayer is just the prayer when he's facing death. He said, yes, just kill me. Because I don't, Nanaka Pristam, I don't want heaven, that means I don't want what you're fighting for. Because Naka is Indra's place. Ka means happiness. And Aka means no happiness. And Na-aka means no happiness or joy. So Naka is a name of Swargalok. Sometimes the etymology is complicated in Sanskrit. So Naka Pristam, I don't want your kingdom, the kingdom of Indra, Nacha Parameshtam, or of greater Nat Brahma, or of the earth, or of the lower planets, or mystic powers, or even liberation. Nothing can satisfy me because I am in this state of separation from the Lord. So very, very beautiful. This is giving insight into Mahaprabhu's prayer when he says, Mama Janmani Janmanishware, oh, birth after birth. That means I don't want liberation. Why? Because the devotee doesn't want anything, because the feelings of Krishna, where are you? Krishna, where are you? That separation mood has come, and nothing can satisfy the devotee except for devotion to Sri Krishna. So these are the moods of the fourth chapter, which correspond to the state of ruchi. For the ajata rati sadak, the devotee who has not attained the rati yet. So he's in the stage of ruchi. Rati is 2 stages later. After ruchi there will be asakti and then rati. Now, what is the fourth set of names? Hari Hari. Hari Hari. The fourth yugalnam, the fourth pair of names in the Mahamantra, they reveal to the devotee who has come into the stage of rati, the jata rati bhakta, the madhyan lila, the midday pastimes. That means from 10:48 in the mid-morning to 3:36 in the mid-afternoon. This is a very long time. This is twice as long as the previous yams, the madhyan lila, midday pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So, in the last yam, we got to the point where Krishna has arrived at Radhakund and is waiting for Srimati Radhika. And Radhika is sent off from Jagat, collects some flowers. They have all the paraphernalia for worshipping the Surya Dev, and they go on the way. They're going there, but then they go to Radhakund. So then now Radha and Krishna meet at Radhakund. So beautiful. Even when they see each other from far away, they become bewildered. First, as Radhika is approaching, Krishna says, "Oh, Aisha Nanti Kavatini Saragare Ilavarti Hantabu." Where am I? Did I come to Ilavrita? I became lost. Ilavrita is a forest where everything is illuminated with gold. So the whole forest, everything becomes filled with the golden complexion of Radhika as she's approaching. And then when Radha and Krishna see each other from far away, Radhika looks at, and what is that? Is that a tamal tree? Krishna looks at Radhika, is that a flash of lightning? Then Krishna, no, it cannot be a flash of lightning. Lightning is in the sky and this is on the earth. In this way, Radha and Krishna are seeing each other. They cannot believe their eyes. They see so many illusions. And then finally they decide, oh, this is my beloved has come. And as they approach each other, then Radhika becomes decorated with so many bhava alankars. Her complexion is changing. She becomes somewhat crooked. All different types of kila kinchit, batayat, and vilas, vichiti, vibram. All different types of emotional ornaments decorate the bodies of Radha and Krishna. And then they come closely together, and the Sakhis inspire them to engage in so many pastimes. The Sakhis actually, they dictate the pace of everything. They are Radhika's own desires have come out and manifest forms. And so they decide, oh, let's serve some honey wine to Radha and Krishna. Pramadamadana yuddha ramba sambhava kavyam pramudita madhirakshi hanta brindavaneshu kimehamiayuvabhyam panalilum mukavyam chasakamupaharistye sadhu madvikapurnam. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad prays, when will that day come? When I see that Radha and Krishna are very eager to enjoy loving pastimes together. But before this play, to inspire them, their passion, then they should drink some honey wine first. So when will I collect from the Ban Devis, the fairies of the forest, a beautiful golden goblet overflowing with fragrant honey wine, and bring this goblet before Radha and Krishna. And then, see Krishna, he will look at the honey wine in the goblet, and only seeing Radhika's beautiful face reflected in the service of the honey wine, Krishna is already intoxicated. Yeah? Even without drinking. And then Krishna, he pretends to drink and said, oh, now Radhika, you should take. Then Radhika actually drinks because she's more simple, and then gives to Krishna, and Krishna pretends to drink. So she thinks that they're both drinking together, but she's taking more and more, and Krishna's just remaining sober because he wants to see what will happen to Radhika. So then Radhika, she says, Ha kim kikim dadarani gugugonitayam dadavati bayad vavavrikshapunja bibiriya aham atra katam jijiva yevam lagisyati yada daitasya kante. Oh Krishna, Hakim Kikim Dadarani Gugugonitayam. Why is the whole world started to spin around? The earth is still, but she's experiencing the whole world is turning. Oh Krishna, why are the trees getting up and running? Oh Krishna, I'm afraid. How will I live? What's happening to the whole world? And Radhika is having all these strange hallucinations from drinking the honey wine. And because she's afraid, then she tightly embraces Krishna. And Krishna is very happy then. So this Madhupan Leela takes place. Also the holy, throwing colors at each other. Then they go into the water, they enter into the water of Radhakund, and all the different colors which are smeared on their bodies melt into the water, and it looks so beautiful. And they have a Jal Krida, splashing pastimes. This is the Madhyan Leela. Sometimes they get onto a swing and they swing together. And there are different types. One type is Krishna is this way and Radhika is that way, they're facing each other. And Krishna makes the swing boats go higher and higher and higher until Radhika becomes afraid. And when Radhika is on this side and she goes up very high, then as she's coming down, then her big skirt is filling with air like a parachute. So she's very modest, she doesn't want anyone to see. So then she thinks, I have to hold down my skirt, otherwise my skirt will come up like this, it may go over my face even. So I have to hold down. But at the same time, if I don't hold on to the ropes, if I try to hold down my skirt, I may fall off the swing. So then Radhika is in a catch-22 situation. She cannot hold the ropes because the skirt will come over her head, and she cannot hold down the skirt because she may fall off the swing when it comes down. So then there's only one solution. She has to fall forward and catch Sri Krishna. So in this way, by various pastimes, Krishna is always tricking Radharani into giving him her embrace, even in the presence of the Sakhis. That's considered a great victory, because any embracing, displays of affection like that in a polite society, they're not acceptable. So sometimes they're doing Julan pastimes on the swing, wine drinking pastimes, splashing water in Radhakund. So in the midst of all these pastimes, Krishna didn't notice, but his flute, which was tucked in his waist belt, it slipped out onto the ground. But Lalita Sakhi noticed, and she took the flute of Sri Krishna and she hid it in the braid of Srimati Radhika. So then Radhika was realizing, this is not good. Oh Lalita, we keep getting defeated by Krishna. Why? Because just as an elephant can easily with his trunk just pluck a lotus flower, Krishna is defeating us in the swinging pastime, he's defeating us in the holy pastime, he defeats us in the honey wine drinking pastime, he defeats us in the splashing pastime, Because these are all power games, they require strength. So Lalita, quickly, come up with a game that requires some brains, so that we can dispatch the pride of this cowherd boy. Because even though the girls are admitting that he's stronger than us, but he's not smarter than us. So then Lalita said, oh, we should play the gambling game with the dice, Chaupar, with the dice. So then Radharani came to Krishna and she challenged him. Oh Krishna, you think that you are so intelligent, but I challenge you to a game of dice. So then Krishna said, it's not a problem. I have defeated you in everything. I will defeat you in this as well and dispatch your pride. So then Radharani, she looked towards Sudevi, one of the Astasakis, and Sudevi bought the board with all the pieces and the dice as well, and placed them before Radha and Krishna, and very eagerly the two of them sat down. So Krishna sat down on one side, and Nandi Mukhi, the granddaughter of Purnamasi and the sister of Madhu Mangal, sat down on Krishna's side to be the witness. And the Brinda Devi, here she is, Brinda Devi, she sat down on Radhika's side. At that time, the Madhu Mangal also stood next to Krishna to give him tactical advice on which pieces to move and which numbers to call for before throwing the dice. And on the other side, Lalita Sakhi became the advisor for the strategy of the game to Srimati Radhika. So then, first of all, it was Radhika's turn to throw the dice. So she got the dice and she began to shake the dice like this, so her whole body was shaking, and Krishna was enchanted by the beautiful body of Srimati Radhika when she was shaking the dice. So then, she threw the dice, and in the first game, then Srimati Radhika won, and Krishna lost. They were betting their deer. Krishna has a male deer, and Radhika has the female deer. So Suranga and Rangini. So when Radhika threw the dice and Krishna threw the dice, then Radhika won, and then Krishna had to hand over his deer. So at that time, Radhika looked at Rupa Manjari, and Rupa Manjari went from Radhika's side of the table over to Krishna's side and put a golden chain around the neck of Krishna's deer, and then began to walk Krishna's deer from Krishna's side over to Radhika's side. So at that time, when Krishna was defeated, because the Sakis, they feel happiness when Radhika is winning, and if she's losing, they feel sadness. So in the same time, Madhu Mangal, he's celebrating when Krishna wins, and now Krishna has lost. Madhu Mangal is looking very sad. So then at that time, the Sakis are criticizing Madhu Mangal. Hey, Madhu Mangal, where is your he now? Because he's always laughing, he, and doing this. Making this noise with his armpits. Hey, Madhu Mangal, where's all your shouting and laughing now? And you're dancing. So then Radhika turned to Madhu Mangal and said, oh, Madhu Mangal, why are you quiet now? I know why. Because finally, your Brahminical qualities are manifesting. Because a Brahmin has moan, he's silent. He's Gambhir, inscrutable. He has peacefulness and gravity. So now Madhu Mangal was always very light and joking because he's become silent and grave, seeing Krishna lose. Radharani said, oh, finally, your Brahminical qualities have become manifest. So then, they said, okay, now we'll throw again. What will we bet this time? So Nandi Mukhi said, Kundalata said, Radhika, you should bet your Shamantaka money. Radhika has a necklace with the Shamantaka, the blue jewel that Krishna had given her, that he'd taken from the head of Shankachuda. And Krishna has a Kaustuba money, which was given to him by the wives of Kaliya. This Kaustuba money is actually part of his Swarup. But Yogamaya, you see, when Lord Narayana appears with all golden crowns and Kaustuba and everything. But when Krishna appears, because his pastimes are human-like, he just appears naked. just like a natural baby. So he cannot appear with the Kaustubha. Then how will Krishna get his Kaustubha money? So Jogamaya Devi put the Kaustubha money in the treasury of the wives of Kaliya. So when the Kali was offering prayers and the wives of Kali wanted to worship Krishna, they thought, let's make some offerings, and they were digging around in their treasure boxes. Oh, I didn't know we had this, and they found the Kaustubha money in the bucket. And then they offered it to Krishna. So it was from that day of the Kaliya Damana Leela. That was the first day Krishna had his Kaustubha money. So now these two, the main jewel of Krishna and the main jewel of Radhika, they are bet. They're to be gambled now. So then, Radha and Krishna, they throw the dice. Again, Srimati Radhika wins. And now, the Radhika has won. Now, the Kaustubha money should be given to Srimati Radhika. So then, the Sakhis, they say, oh, I don't know whether we should accept this Kaustubha money. Why? Because this Kaustubha money has touched the chest of so many gopis in Vrindavan, like Chandravali and Padma and Bhadra, and all of this. So why should we want this jewel? Is it maybe we can swap it for a bangle or something? If we take it from him, we'll swap it for some nice bangles. Or maybe we could wash it many times with cow dung to purify it. So in this way, the Sakhis, they're criticizing Krishna, teasing him and humiliating. Now Krishna's already lost 2 times in a row. So the Sakhis are saying, Krishna, this game needs intelligence. This is not cow grazing. This is not wandering around in the jungle with taking the cows to feed on the grass. This requires some intelligence. And they tease Sri Krishna. So then, at that time, the Kundalata, she comes and she takes the chain from around the neck of Krishna with the Kaustubha money, and she carries it over and puts it around the neck of Radhika. And now Krishna's Kaustubha money is on the chest, right in the middle of the chest of Srimati Radhika. And Krishna looked at his own Kaustubha money and he saw himself reflected there. And tears began to flow from his eyes. And Krishna said, oh, Pratibimba, that means reflection. Oh, Pratibimba, reflection. I think actually you cannot be the reflection. I think that you are the original and I am the reflection. Why? Because you have attained the highest destination. You have attained what I have not attained. And you have attained a position on the chest of Srimati Radhika. So I think that you are the real Krishna and I am just the reflection here. So then Kundalata, she's like the judge in the game. He said, okay, now we have to play again. But this time, Krishna should wager his flute. And Radhika can wager her. Krishna plays the flute and Radhika plays a veena. It's like a sitar, but with the sound gourd at both ends. She has a veena called Mahati veena. So then Krishna, he feels in his waist belt for his flute. Oh, where's my flute? Now, it was lost, he dropped it a long time ago. And Lalita Sakhi had caught it. So then, Krishna, Madhu Mangal, where's my flute? Hey, tell me, where is my flute, Madhu Mangal? So then, Madhu Mangal, he said, why am I associating with this cowherd boy? I am from a very high caste. I am a Brahmin. What is going on? I am a Brahmin. I am a Dharma Murti. I am the embodiment of all religion. And what are you, Krishna? You are getting drunk, gambling, and associating with so many women. And now even you've lost your flute. Krishna said, Lalita, stop joking. Just tell me, where is my flute? They said, how would I know where the flute is? Krishna said, Lalita, did Radhika steal my flute? Lalita said, I swear that I have not taken it and I don't know where it is. Krishna said, did you take my flute when we were swinging? She said, no. Did you take my flute when we were playing in the water? No. Did you take my flute when we were drinking honey wine? No. They denied everything. And they began teasing Krishna. So Krishna said, Radhika, please return my flute to me. Abradhirani Dedaro Bangsi Mori. Abradhirani Dedaro Bangsi Mori. Jo Bangsi Mori Pranavasatare. O Bangsi Kai Chori. Radhe Rani Dedaro Bangsi Mori. Oh Radhika, don't delay. Don't be late. Return my flute to me. Kaisi mein gao, Radhe kaisi bajao, kaisi milao gayageri. Ab Radhe Rani Dedaro Bangsi Mori. Krishna's begging, without my flute, then how will I sing? How will I play? How will I gather all my cows together? Gopis are just laughing at Krishna. Mukh se tum gao kana, khar se bajao, lakoti se lao gayageri. Ab Radhe Rani Dedaro Bangsi Mori. Krishna said, please don't delay, give me my flute back. The Sakhi said, don't worry Krishna, you can sing with your mouth. You can play music by clapping your hands. And if you want to collect your cows together, then you should use your stick. You can collect all the cows together by using your lakuti, your cow herding stick. Why are you so upset, Krishna? It's just a piece of bamboo. You're the prince, you're the son of the king of Braj, Nanda Maharaj. Why are you worried over just a simple piece of bamboo? So they request him again and again. In the end, Krishna said, they're not going to give me the answer, they're just trying to humiliate me. Madhumangal, you are Brahmin. You are telling me what a great Brahmin you are, so you must have studied all the Vedangas. So among the Vedangas, there is Jyotish, astrology. So Madhumangal, I want you to make an astrological calculation, and from the astrological calculation, find out who's taken my flute. So then Madhumangal, he took a stick, and he drew the portions of the chart in the sand. And he put the planets here and there. And then he remembered his mantras, because you can't just read the chart, you have to also have inspiration to be a good astrologer. So then Madhumangal was remembering his mantras. Aha! It was Lalita. Huh? Somewhere of you who was right. Lalita took it. Lalita said, no, I don't have his flute. It's also true. I don't have the flute. Krishna said, all right, if you don't have the flute, then you have to let me search you. You have to let me search you. Then Krishna came and he caught Lalita and broke open her blouse, and he was touching everywhere trying to discover if she had the flute. As Lalita was doing this, as Krishna was doing this, then Lalita by her eyes, then she glanced towards Shrimati Radhika. So then Krishna came and broke the blouse of Radhika and was touching Radhika here and there. He could not find the flute. Radhika looked towards the one of her Sakhis, Vishaka. Then Krishna, and in this way, on the pretext of searching for the flute, then Krishna, he experienced the joy of the association of each of the Sakhis one by one. Just then, one Ban Devi, because in Vrindavan, Brinda Devi, she's not a human being, she's a Devi. She's a goddess of the forest, and she has many assistants like fairies of the forest. So just then, one Bana Devi came there to Radhakund and announced to Radha and Krishna and all the Sakhis, Jyotila has arrived at Surya Kund. She came there to see if you had really gone there to do the Surya Puja. So then, at once, all the blissful sporting pastimes of the Madhyan Lila that take place in Radhakund, they could not continue. And Radhika, along with her Sakhis, quickly left Radhakund and they came there to Suryakund, which is just nearby, about 3 kilometers away. They arrived on the bank of Suryakund at the temple of the sun god. And Krishna, obviously Krishna could not come because Jojala was there. So then, when they arrived there, Radhika was full of fear. Jojala said, "Oh my dear daughter-in-law, my Vadu, why are you so late?" Radharani said, "Oh, before doing puja, we had to take bath in Manasiganga." Good excuse. Okay then. So then Jojala says, "But where is Kundalata?" Radharani said, "Oh, we need a priest to do the puja. You have to have a priest who will perform the puja and tell you what mantras to chant and what to do." So Kundalata, she went to get a priest. Jojala said, why isn't she here already with the priest? So much time has passed. Then Radhika looked and said, "Oh, she's coming just now." And then Kundalata was coming. And with Kundalata, there were 2 Brahmins. One Brahmin was Madhumanga. And the other Brahmin had a sham complexion. He looked very peaceful, like in a trance. His eyes were not restless, his eyes were very steady, as if in a trance. He had the Shastra underneath his arm. He had a Brahmin thread, wooden shoes, a belt of kush grass. He looked like a very learned scholar, a great intellectual brahmachari. So then, when he arrived there, Jojala, she said, "Oh, best of the Brahmanas, only seeing you I feel blessed," because he was such an effulgent, learned scholar. It was very clear from his appearance. So then, Kundalata said, "Oh, I'm sorry I'm late. I was looking everywhere for a Brahmin. I couldn't find a Brahmin anywhere. I had to go all the way to Mathura. And there I found this Brahmin, who is the great disciple of Gargacharya in Mathura. And so even the great scholars and intellectuals, they all praise this boy. And he's a great protege of Vedic knowledge. He's the best of all brahmacharis." So then Jojala was very happy and they came inside the temple. The Sakhis came, Madhu Mangal, one Brahmin, and this other Brahmin, mysterious Brahmin. And they began the puja. So this mysterious Brahmin was passing the articles to Radhika and telling her what mantras to say. So you should offer this now and say the mantra, "Om Itaya Namaha, Om Kamadaya Namaha." And Radharani was repeating the mantras. But Krishna was telling mantras which has double meanings. So the mantras mean, "I offer myself to my boyfriend." "I offer myself so I can fulfill all of his desires." When the puja, Jojala was watching and she was amazed. "Oh, this is such a good puja. So many mantras." And at the end of the puja, Jojala said, "Oh, best of the Brahmanas, my son Abhimanyu, he will give you 1,000,000 cows. May you have a long life, Chiranjeevi Bhava, may you have a long life and be free from all trouble. I am praying to Suryadev of this benediction for you." So then, at the end of the puja, Jojala, she gave some gold in charity. She gave some gold to Krishna. Krishna said, "I only do my duty for a sense of duty, not to get anything in return. I don't need this gold." Madam Mangal grabbed it. And there was also so many food offerings as well that were made to Suryadev. And Krishna said, "I don't need anything." Madam Mangal also took all the food, all the sweets and everything. So then Krishna said, "Oh, just one last thing when you finish the puja. Now you should do one circumambulation, one parikrama of the temple. And then you should come in front of Suryadev and you should give pranam at the feet of Suryadev just to complete the puja." So then Radharani, she began to do the parikrama around the temple and she came back again. And when she bowed down to Suryadev, then clang, clang, clang. The flute fell out of her hair because later put the flute in her braid. And now right at the end of the puja, Krishna's flute fell out onto the floor next to Srimati Radhika. Oh. Then Radhika was afraid. What will happen? What will happen? So then Jatila said, what is this? What is this? And she picked up the flute. And she was so angry. She thought, oh, now I know why Radhika was late. Where she had been, why she was late. She said to Radhika, where did you get this flute? Radhika said, as I was coming by Govardhan, I just saw it, I found it on the floor there. So I thought, I'll just take it and I'll throw it in the Jamuna. I picked it up and I was going to later throw it in the Jamuna because it gives so much trouble to all the young girls of Braja. So don't be angry with me. I just found it somewhere and I was about to get rid of it. Jatila said, oh, you're always trying to cheat me. I will take you into the village assembly of all the elderly gopis and we'll have a meeting, like a trial, to see whether you're guilty or not. So then the Brahmin, the very wise Brahmin who was there, said, oh, old lady, noble old lady, why are you becoming angry and shouting at your daughter-in-law? I am your well-wisher, I am your benefactor, I can solve any problem. So just tell me whatever the problem is, even if it's something embarrassing. So then Jatila said, oh, great Brahmana, do you know the king of Braja? Then Krishna said, yes, yes, his name is Nanda Maharaj, he's very famous, even in Mathura. Jatila said, well, that king of Braja, he has a son. And then that Brahmin said, oh, I have heard that he has a son. I heard that the son of Nanda Maharaj has killed Agasur, Bakasur, Keshi demon. I have heard about him. Jatila said, well, listen, yes, that one. That son of Nanda Maharaj, he has a very bad habit. That he is spoiling the chastity of all the girls in Brajmandal. And this flute, it's this very flute. He goes into the forest in the middle of the night and he plays on this flute. And by this flute, he calls all the girls to come to meet with him in the forest. And then, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. She cannot even say. She doesn't want to say what happens. So then when Krishna heard the words of Jatila, he said, really? Show me this flute. What is it like? And then Jatila handed over the flute to Krishna. And he took it in his hand and looked at it as if he'd never seen it before. What is this? You see how clever Krishna is. The gopis have stolen Krishna's flute. And Krishna is so vidagdha, he's so cunning, that he can make Radharani's own mother-in-law return it to him. Not only does he get it back from them, he makes Radhika's mother-in-law return it. He's so vidagdha. So Krishna's and looking at it, and in his heart he's relishing so much. And gopis are thinking, oh, Krishna is so clever, so cunning. So then he's looking at the flute as if he's never seen it before. And then he says, oh Ajay, oh noble lady, I will take this. Jatila says, yes, you take it with you. You take it all the way to Mathura. And if you take it to Mathura, then it won't make a disturbance to any of the young girls of Braj anymore, and the problem will be solved. And all the gopis, they can be fixed in their duties instead of being disturbed day and night by this flute. So now, oh Brahmin, please give me permission to go, but I just ask you one thing. Please always come here every day and conduct a puja for my daughter-in-law. So then that Brahmin gave that blessing, Tatastu, may it be. And then Jatila and everyone, they returned, and Sri Krishna returned to the cowherd boys, and this is the end of the Madhyan Lila. That is the fourth period of the day. It corresponds to the fourth Yugal Nam in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. For the Jatarati sadhakas, the sadhaks who have attained bhav. So those who will follow the prayers and the meditations given in Bhajana-rahasya for the Ajatarati sadhak, then gradually they'll attain bhav and then they will experience all these pastimes and even serve directly in these pastimes. Boliye Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai, Varsani Wali ki jai, Jai Jai Sri Radhe.